Some places don't just get left behind, they hold on to something. A whisper in the walls, a story stuck in time. The air feels heavier, like it remembers everything. Rusted swings swaying with no wind. Doll heads staring blankly from trees. Cities where doors are still open but no one's been home in decades. These aren't just forgotten places. They're places that refuse to be forgotten. From an eccentric and extravagant mansion where stairs lead to nowhere to a once lavish hotel perched on the edge of a roaring waterfall, here are 15 weirdest, most stunning abandoned places on Earth that will make you save every penny to visit them. Just stay tuned and see why and how. Number 15. Salto Hotel. There is nothing, and we mean nothing, more beautiful than planning a trip. Scrolling through pictures on Expedia, picking the perfect hotel, and imagining yourself waking up to a view that makes your soul sing. But what if that dream hotel is now just a shell of what it once was? Perched on the edge of a sheer cliff, Salto Hotel sits next to the thundering Tequendama Falls in Colombia. Once a symbol of luxury, it welcomed wealthy travelers eager to sip their morning coffee while staring at the roaring Bogota River below. But time had other plans. The guests disappeared. The halls fell silent. Eventually, it was abandoned, left clinging to the rock face like a ghost of the past. Today, it stands as the Tequendama Falls Museum of Biodiversity and Culture, where the views remain just as breathtaking, but now with an eerie, forgotten charm. The road to get there? Let's just say, if driving in Colombia isn't your thing, get a tour. Trust us. Number 14. Isla de las Muñecas, Mexico. Well, we've talked a lot, maybe hundreds of times, about this beautiful yet eerily fascinating island in our previous videos. But the more we research it and stare at it, the more it makes us wonder, who in their right mind would actually want to go there? Just look at those creepy dolls. Some people swear they move, whisper, and are possessed by evil spirits. And honestly, we wouldn't be surprised. This place is littered with hundreds of maybe thousands of dolls dangling from trees, fences, and buildings. Some are missing eyes, some are missing limbs, and some are just staring at you. The story goes that the owner of the island found a girl who drowned in the nearby canal and hung her doll as a tribute to her spirit. And after that, he just kept collecting dolls, all in varying states of decay and despair. Now, this island is a tourist attraction, perfect for those who want a thrill that even Netflix Leave the World Behind can't offer. Number 13. Varosha. Well, as the saying goes, war does not determine who is right, only who is left. But in Varosha, no one's left. This de jure territory of Cyprus was once a thriving, sun-soaked paradise, but now it's frozen in time. Back in the 70s, this was the place to be. Luxury hotels, stunning beaches, and tourists everywhere. That is until 1974, when war tore through the island. The Turkish military took over, the people fled, and Varosha was locked behind barbed wire, left to decay under the Mediterranean sun. The resorts? Still standing, but lifeless. The beach? Still golden, but untouched. If you somehow manage to check in to one of these abandoned hotels, don't expect room service. It's been 50 years and it's still not coming. Today, tourists can only glimpse the ruins from a distance, staring at a place that once buzzed with life. A paradise turned ghost town, where time has stopped and no one has returned. Number 12. Winchester Mystery House, California. A house built by ghosts or for them? That's still up for debate. In 1884, Sarah Winchester, widow of the firearms magnate, began building what would become one of the strangest homes in history. Fueled by grief, paranoia, and a belief that she was haunted by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles, she ordered construction to never stop. For 38 years, workers toiled day and night, expanding the mansion into a 160-room labyrinth designed to confuse spirits. Stairs spiral into ceilings, doors open to brick walls, hallways twist and turn with no end in sight. It's a maze where logic fails and purpose disappears. Some people say Sarah held nightly seances, receiving architectural instructions from beyond. Others believe she was simply losing her grip on reality. Today, the house stands as a living riddle, open for tours. Just don't stray too far. Well, that's because some doors lead nowhere but down, and you definitely don't want that. Number 11. Tunnel of Love, Ukraine. Not all abandoned places are eerie. Some are just strangely enchanting. Deep in the forests of Ukraine, nature and industry collided to create a tunnel straight out of a fairy tale. Originally a railway track for a plywood factory, time and neglect allowed trees to arch over the rails, forming a perfect, dreamlike green passageway. Locals call it the Tunnel of Love. Couples visit to make wishes, believing that those who walk through together will stay together. It's beautiful, peaceful, and covered in layers of lush foliage that change color with the seasons. But don't get too lost in the moment. The train still runs. It's rare, but when it comes, it emerges like a ghost breaking through a dream. Despite its use, the tunnel remains a hidden wonder, where romance meets mystery, and where something as cold as steel tracks can be swallowed by something as alive as the forest itself. Number 10. Mount Buzludzha, Bulgaria. High in Bulgaria's Balkan Mountains, an enormous flying saucer-shaped ruin looms over the landscape like an artifact from another world. This is Mount Buzludzha, the once grand house of the Bulgarian Communist Party, now a decayed relic of a fallen empire. Built in 1981 as a brutalist monument to communism, the structure was meant to stand for eternity. But just a few years after its completion, the government collapsed, and with it, so did its future. Looters stripped it bare, graffiti artists claimed the walls, and the elements did the rest. Today, it looks like a spaceship that crash-landed and was left to rot. Reaching Buzludzha is no small feat. The 1,432-meter summit is a challenging hike, especially in winter. But those who make it to the top stand face to face with a monument to a past ideology, where power once reigned and silence now lingers. Number 9. San Juan Parangaricutiro, Mexico. In 1943, a farmer in Mexico watched as smoke rose from a crack in his cornfield. Days later, the ground split open, lava erupted, and a freshly newborn volcano, Paricutin, began devouring everything in its path without showing any kind of mercy, like Diddy. Over the next decade, molten rock swallowed homes, streets, and entire lives, leaving behind nothing but a blackened wasteland of hardened lava. Yet, standing defiantly amid the destruction is one survivor, the church tower of San Juan Parangaricutiro. Everything around it is buried under volcanic rock, but the steeple still juts out, a ghostly reminder of a village erased by fire. Today, visitors hike across the jagged lava fields, touching the scorched stone where a town once thrived. Inside the remaining ruins, the church's altar still stands, empty, abandoned, but untouched. It is a place where Mama Nature proved its super-duper power, yet something human refused to disappear. Number 8. Maunsell Forts, England. Rising from the Thames estuary like rusted sentinels, the Maunsell Forts look more like dystopian war machines than anything belonging on Earth. Built in 1942, these offshore towers were designed to shoot down enemy planes during World War II. But wars ended, and so did their purpose. By the 1950s, the forts were abandoned, left to rot in the open sea. For a while, they found new life as pirate radio stations, broadcasting forbidden music across the waves. But eventually, the last voices faded, and the forts stood silent once more. Now, they are hollow, rusting skeletons, battered by time and tide. Seen from a distance, they feel like something out of a post-apocalyptic nightmare. Isolated, corroded, standing against the endless horizon. No longer guardians of war, they now watch over nothing but the sea. Well, now prepare for the spooky. Number 7. Canfranc International Railway Station, Spain. Once a grand gateway between Spain and France, Canfranc International Railway Station now stands as a forgotten relic of war, espionage, and secrets buried in time. Opened in 1928, this opulent station was meant to be Europe's grandest rail hub, but its history took a darker turn. During World War II, it became a crucial smuggling route for Nazi gold, weapons, and even spies. Spanish dictator Francisco Franco and German forces controlled its halls, turning what was meant to be a passage of travel into a corridor of war. In 1970, a collapsed bridge cut off the railway, sealing Canfranc's fate. It was abandoned, left to decay as a playground for urban explorers. Yet, beneath the station's rotting beams, something unexpected lurks. A high-tech underground lab studying dark matter. A place once shadowed by war now probes the shadows of the universe. Some ghosts never leave. Some just evolve. Number 6. Hashima Island, Japan. From a booming mining town to an apocalyptic ghost island, Hashima Island, or Gunkanjima, or our favorite, the Battleship Island, tells the story of Japan's rapid rise and sudden collapse. Once home to over 5,000 workers, this concrete fortress in the East China Sea thrived in the mid-1900s, extracting coal from beneath the ocean. But as oil replaced coal, the economy shifted, and by 1974, the last resident boarded a boat, leaving the island to the mercy of the waves. Today, Hashima's skeletal remains stand frozen in time, a maze of abandoned high-rises, rusted stairwells, and shattered windows, slowly crumbling under Japan's coastal winds. The island's eerie dystopian look made it the perfect villain's lair in Skyfall, cementing its cinematic reputation. Guided tours from Nagasaki allow visitors to witness this industrial graveyard, but with its decaying buildings and rough seas, Hashima isn't just abandoned, it's actively trying to keep people out. Number 5. Presidio Modelo, Cuba. Few prisons in history were built with the sole purpose of watching your every move, but Presidio Modelo was one of them. Located on Cuba's Isla de la Juventud, this eerie panopticon-style prison was designed so that a single guard could oversee thousands of prisoners at once. No shadows to hide in, no secrets to keep. Among its most famous inmates, Fidel and Raul Castro, imprisoned here in 1953 before their revolution took hold. Ironically, after Castro took power, the very same cells that held him were used for his own political enemies. Overcrowding, riots, and hunger strikes eventually led to its closure, and today, Presidio Modelo stands abandoned, its circular, decaying walls a silent witness to Cuba's turbulent past. Now a museum and research center, visitors can step inside the desolate halls where thousands once lived under constant surveillance, a haunting reminder that in this place, privacy was never an option. Number 4. Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. A city built for grandeur, yet filled with emptiness. Welcome to Ashgabat, the capital of Turkmenistan, a place where marble palaces, golden domes, and eerie silence collide. President Saparmurat Niyazov, in his attempt to create a golden era of Turkmenistan, transformed Ashgabat into a city of record-breaking opulence. With 543 marble buildings, the world's largest indoor Ferris wheel, and streets that look more like a movie set than a functioning metropolis, it should be a place brimming with life. But it isn't. Due to the country's strict authoritarian rule and isolationist policies, the streets remain eerily empty, giving Ashgabat its nickname, the City of the Dead. Few visitors ever step foot here, and those who do describe it as a place that feels more like a dream or a dictatorship's illusion than a real city. Number 3. Six Flags, Louisiana. Amusement parks are built for laughter, thrills, and childhood memories. But what happens when those memories are drowned beneath floodwaters, left to rot under the sun? Once a place of joy, Six Flags New Orleans became a graveyard of roller coasters after Hurricane Katrina tore through Louisiana in 2005. The storm's wrath left the park submerged, and when the waters receded, all that remained were twisted rides, rusted Ferris wheels, and eerie silence. The cheerful signs still hang, but their promises of fun are now hollow. Nature has taken over. Water pools in forgotten corners, vines creep up decaying attractions, and alligators roam where children once played. Though it's fenced off, urban explorers risk arrest just to see its haunting beauty up close. Number 2. Balestrino, Italy. There are 2 Balestrinos. One still breathes with life, the other is a ghost town frozen in time. Perched on a hilltop in northern Italy, Old Balestrino was abandoned in 1953 after earthquakes made it too dangerous to inhabit. The villagers left, but the town remained, its medieval stone buildings standing empty against the backdrop of the sea. Bridges lead to nowhere, churches still hold their silence, and an empty castle watches over a town that no longer belongs to anyone. Though officially off-limits, its beauty is undeniable. The cracked facades and overgrown streets feel untouched, like a forgotten postcard from another era. Those lucky enough to glimpse it from a distance see a place where time has simply stopped. Balestrino isn't just abandoned, it's suspended between the past and the present, a town left behind not by war or disaster, but by the quiet shifting of the earth itself. Number 1. Salisbury Plain, United Kingdom. Some towns die naturally, others are taken. Nestled in southwest England, Salisbury Plain holds secrets buried beneath rolling green fields. During World War II, the British military evacuated entire villages to use the land for training. The most famous? Imber, a once thriving village turned ghost town overnight in 1943. Families were forced out, homes abandoned, streets left to decay under the weight of war. Today, the village remains almost completely off-limits. A few times a year, the church, St. Giles, opens its doors, offering a rare glimpse into a place locked away for decades. Cope Hill Down, another abandoned settlement, still stands, its buildings now eerily staged for military exercises. Salisbury Plain isn't desolate, but its villages? They are echoes of a war that ended long ago, but never truly let go. A place where soldiers walk, but the past still lingers, watching, waiting, remembering. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.